Welcome. I'm so happy you are here. I'm here with my friend Caleb. This is Caleb from Pluto's Gate.
How are you?
And
I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah, me too. We've been talking about this for a while. So I came across Caleb's channel probably about a month ago. And the first video I watched, he was talking about parallel realities. And I was like, I got to talk to that guy. So I reached out to him. I think he emailed back the first night and we were like, all right, let's do this. So we're doing the collaboration right now. And in this video, we are going to talk to Caleb specifically about parallel realities because I think it's a fascinating topic. Caleb's channel is posted below, by the way, and this is a two-part series. So there's going to be a second video on Caleb's channel as well that you can go check out after this one. So let's talk about, is this your favorite topic, Caleb? Is parallel realities?
One of the favorite topics because it helps people get into the logical mindset from the 3D perspective as to why it's possible to be, do, or have anything they want, and why they're worthy of being, doing, or having anything they want. So in the beginning, when they're having a hard time believe it, it helps give them more of that logicality from like the same standpoint where they're coming from at first. So then they can kind of like boost it up from there, you know, get into the feeling of the wish fulfilled type thing. It's a good stepping stone, I believe, to help people.
Yeah, it's like the mechanics. So that was actually the first question.
Yes.
From the perspective of quantum mechanics and from parallel realities, what exactly is happening? And we can use the example of manifesting a specific person. I think it makes it easy when we talk about using an example. So what is happening when we're manifesting a specific person in terms of parallel realities? Like, what is actually going on?
Well, so we have to bring it back to the basics just a little bit so they understand. So quantum science has proven that everything in the universe is just energy. It's atoms that are vibrating at a frequency. And atoms, actually 99.9% of them don't have any solidity to them or any mass. So only 1/10 of 1% of an atom actually has mass, and that's what they call dark matter. So only 1/10 of 1% of the entire universe actually has solidity to it. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to the parallel realities, what quantum science is starting to understand is that time is not linear like how we perceive it. It's an illusion that we perceive. So what actually is happening is that everything is happening here and now, right now, in the present moment. So that's when they say you've got to start living in the present moment, you know, start being conscious here so we can start getting into the perceived future, you know, start creating that future. So because they know that everything is made up of energy and everything is just energy, it's just an expression, you know, this dresser is just an expression of energy. Right. I'm an expression of energy. You're an expression of energy. There's a parallel reality is just a different vibrational frequency. That's something I want to clear up right now with people is that it's not a portal that opens in the sky like, you know, Star Trek or whatever, you know, Star Wars. It's not a portal you go through. It's just a different state of existence. It's a different frequency. Your emotions put you in a different frequency. So when it comes to manifesting a specific person, we are not overriding their free will. Because we know everything exists here and now, and there is infinite number of parallel realities to the infinite power. So like infinity to the infinity sign, anything is possible. So we're just going to align ourselves with a parallel reality where they are the version of them that we wish to experience. So let's say we have two versions. We have A and B. Version A, we say to ourselves, this person's a jerk. We don't like them, whatever. Well, and no matter what reality we're in, people always play out the story we hold true about them. So we're just going to align ourselves in the reality where they're playing out the story we wish to experience. It's a preference. And we get there much quicker when we're not in the vibration or in the frequency of lack and need. Because if we keep thinking, I lack and need this thing to be okay, we're just aligning ourselves in a reality where we're going to find more lack and need to be okay. So that's why we have to get into the wish fulfilled, which is, you know, a lot of what you talk about in your channel, living in the end, shift into the reality. You're not even going to know when you shift into the reality. Like when the manifestation pops up, it's just going to pop up. So it's not going to be like, oh my God, the portal appeared, and I'm just going to walk through the portal. It's just, you'll just be there. That's all it is. You know what I mean? You'll just get into that feeling, and you'll just shift there. You won't even realize when the shift happens until they show up.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the way that I talk about that particular experience is through self-concept. And so when we change how we perceive ourselves and who we perceive ourselves to be, then our outer reality changes. But it happens so fluidly and seamlessly. I mean, this is happening moment by moment. Actually, every moment we are choosing a particular parallel reality.
Yeah. It's just like a picture in time. Mm-hmm.
Right. And so there's infinite snapshots of what is possible laid out second by second by second. And based on our inner world, our belief systems, our thoughts, our feelings, we are just choosing a particular lane to go down.
Yep. And that's the thing. You just can't get caught in that illusion.
What was that?
You can't get caught in the illusion. People think that the only thing they can experience is the here and now, like what they see in front of them. And this is not concrete and set in stone. You're just giving that illusion. Anything is possible. It's like you said, You can go down whichever lane you want. Anything's possible. Don't be anchored down by just what you see right now in front of you. That doesn't have to hold you back.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the tricky part of like perspective and the illusion of separation. It really does look like everything is static, right? It looks like I am this very particular thing that is unchanging. Yep. But what truth is there's a change every moment of every moment of time. I'm just choosing constantly. So, this is super fascinating. I love this topic. So can you talk a little bit more about, and in particular when it comes to manifesting a specific person, let's dive into how we are not taking away anyone's free will. Or let's just talk about free will in general. Like, what would you say, like, what is this truth about parallel realities open up in terms of free will? Like, what, do you know what I'm asking?
Yes, yeah. So this concept, it's actually really cool when you think about it, because at first when you're confused, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm taking away from someone's best life. You feel guilty. And then when you actually start to understand the mechanics of it, you realize you're not. Because when it comes to this, here's the thing. It doesn't matter what reality you're in. So if you're trying to manifest a specific person right now, or if the thought is kind of dabbling in your head, but you feel guilty, well, here's a news flash. You've been manifesting people to show up in your life since the day you were born in a specific way. So how I explain it to people is people in your reality, looking through your eyes, through your awareness, your quantum bubble, everyone is happy to play out the role that you assign them. So you say this person's a jerk. Great. I'm happy to play that role out for you. They don't say it, out loud to you, but it's energetic waveform type thing, frequency. So you're just matching with that version of them. Right. So when it comes to free will, in my personal opinion, because I tell people this, my clients and stuff, because I don't believe that every single person in your reality, your quantum bubble, is just a meatless, lifeless robot that you're controlling. Like, for example, let's say if you drop them off at their house and they go inside and close the front door. Well, they're not just sitting there like a robot, waiting for you to come back and then they're going to get back and reanimate again. I believe, in my personal opinion, that every single version of you, your higher self, your soul, your essence, your consciousness, whatever you want to call it, it's all the same thing, your awareness, it exists in every version of you. So when people ask me, they're like, well, if I'm manifesting a specific person and there's infinite number of parallel realities, how do I know where my consciousness is? Or how do I know if someone's not trying to manifest me, I don't have control over it? Well, that's my simple answer is it doesn't matter. It's where you choose to focus your consciousness. So there's other parallel realities where maybe you lost a leg, you have a missing eye. I don't know, you're a chef. Because everything exists in potentiality, right? There's other parallel realities where people are manifesting you as their specific person. But you don't have to worry about that because focusing on where our consciousness is. So that's the same thing with your specific person. You're not taking away from them.
Right.
You're not overriding their free will. You're not taking away from their best life. You're just aligning yourself with a version of them you wish to experience. It's all a version of them, the ideal version you wish, the one that's happy to be with you, the one that wants to be in the relationship. And likewise for them, there's many other parallel realities where they're off doing their own thing, you know, manifesting other stuff. But it's the same concept I tell people is don't worry and think that everyone's just like a lifeless meat puppet. I truly do believe your essence, whatever you call it, your awareness, it exists in all versions of you because there's infinite number of versions of you that exist. So you're not all alone in this quantum bubble, you know, like you're just, you know, it's not like that.
It gets freaky when you think that.
It is a little freaky. Some people, down that rabbit hole. Yeah, that's what scares them. I'm like, no, that person that you're manifesting, let's say you manifest your specific person. They still, I think, in my ability, have the, in my opinion, you know, they still have, you know, the ability to think, like they can like reading books or doing stuff like that. They're not a meatless life puppet. They're just a version of them that's happy to be with you, that's happy to play out the role you assign them. Right. They're not some robot you're controlling, or don't think about it, you know, that way, because it sounds very isolating and scary when you think about it like that.
Scary. You know, what I think is happening, this is the one place in the whole system, you know, that like I don't quite know what's going on yet. I don't know if I ever will, but I feel like there's this quantum computer program grid that I would never be able to understand that somehow aligns everything, that it works out. So what I do know is that like my free will can't clash up against someone else's free will. That can't happen. But what's the interaction? That's the piece I don't know. How does someone else's free will interact with my free will? This is where it gets a little, yeah, you can go down the rabbit hole. But I think everything you're saying is really right on. It's, your consciousness is in charge of the reality you are experiencing, and every reality you are experiencing, however it happens, is going to line up with your inner reality. That's just works. We may not know exactly all like the mechanisms of this, but that is what happens.
And that's the great thing about it, is we don't have to know all the way how it works. It's just like with orchestration. We don't know how the orchestration has happened. All we know is that I'm getting from point A to point B. I don't care how it happens. I know that it still works and I can get what I want. So that's the fun thing about it, is we don't have to give ourselves extra homework for no reason. We don't have to worry about how it happens or know the mechanics. We just know that it works.
Yes.
So that's what makes it easier, you know. It's work. You work smarter, not harder, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot more fun.
Well, and this is where testing it comes in. And when you do start to test it and you start to see that the contents of your inner world appear out there, it just becomes undeniable.
Yeah. Literally it's like you're literally a walking projector. Like everything's just projecting out 360. It's literally how it is. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, it comes from the subconscious out.
I love it. Okay, so one more question for you. I've heard you say if you can conceptualize it in your mind, it exists. And I think this is really important, because this is where we get into our infinite nature, that we can really create anything and everything that we experience within. And you've spoken to it already, but this really has to do with parallel realities as well. So what we conceptualize in our mind, it exists. Do you have anything you want to say about that? Or?
Well, yeah, and I actually give this funny client, I actually tell this to clients on the phone too, is I tell them, okay, when I tell you anything is possible, I mean literally anything is possible, because it all exists here and now. So I tell them, if you can literally conceive of a reality where the world is being taken over by evil, you know, giant purple dishwasher monkey hybrids, then it does exist somewhere in infinite potentiality. If you can hold that as just for a second, I don't know why you would want to align with that reality. But if you can conceive of it, it does exist somewhere.
Yeah.
So instead of, you know, we're not going to think about evil, you know, purple dishwasher monkey hybrids. You know, we're going to think about more stuff that we want to experience, you know, fun things like that, you know, specific person, money, job, career, because those things are, I think, would be a lot easier to align with than an evil overlord, parallel reality. But yes, if you can think of anything, that's why I say your imagination is the gateway to reality. It is the key to reality. Anything you can think of, because there's what I tell people, this is the one thing about manifesting. I say it's impossible. It's impossible to say something is impossible. That's how I think about it. Anything can exist. Let's think about it this way. Let's think about technology. If you had told someone living in the 1300s, or the perceived time of the 1300s, that what we would be experiencing, what we'd be doing now with technology and phones, they would have called you a crackpot, a witch, and burned you. You know what I mean? They could have never conceptualized something like this, even just 100 years ago, 50 years ago, 20 years ago with smartphones. Is people have a desire, and it's like other coaches have said, the earth it's like a 3D printer. It's just dropping down the manifestations. So people, they desire for more, they want to do better, and it comes, and it's being plopped down basically like a 3D printer. So anything literally is possible. Think about 100 years ago, all the technology we have now, all of the cures for types of, diseases and cancer and all that stuff, didn't have that 100 years ago. And they probably would have thought you were insane if you had told them what the future was like today, or the perceived future was like today. So yes, anything is possible. Yeah, we can just use examples from our own past to see, oh my God, look how far humanity has actually come, in the perceived time of the last 600, 700, 50 years, whatever.
Right. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. And when I think about everything that has been created, and in particular, and like in today's world, my belief system around how a lot of this has been created, like technology, it's like people believe in it. Someone believes in it. They lock in on it. Focus in on it, and they know that it's true. And what happens?
Look at Bill Gates.
It gets created.
He's a recent example.
Yeah. Exactly.
Bill Gates. He was a guy in his garage somewhere out in California that said, hey, I want to make the computer where everyone can have it in their house. Because back then, like in the 50s and 60s, computers were huge. I mean, they were like 20 feet big. They were as big as a room. And he was like, no, I want to compress this down into a smaller, home device people can use. And he did. And then it kept getting better and better and better, because people kept having the desire, this is going to get better, we can make this better. Exactly. That's why anything is possible. You just have to persist, but not persist in the lack, because you persist in the lack, you just get more lack. You persist that in the, I know there's a solution, I know there's a way, there's always a way. The right stepping stone is always appearing in front of me at the right time when I need it. That type of thing. That's how I think about it.
You just know it. You just embody it. You embody the truth of it. And that's what we're going to talk about in the next video. We're going to talk about in the end and embodying the feeling of
living in the end. Yes.
So come join us on that video. But Caleb, thank you so much. This has been awesome. I love talking to you about this stuff. So fun. And yeah, go check out Caleb's channel. It's awesome. It's called Pluto's Gate. There's a link below in the description. And we'll see you in video 2, everyone.
Thanks. Bye, guys. Thank you.